So the American far-right propaganda channel, Prager University, has just created a Prager University for kids. So Dennis Prager, the American Minister of Propaganda, has decided that it's not enough to rescue adults from woke, liberal degeneracy. It's now just as important to rescue those innocent little children from the clutches of evil, depraved communist heathens like myself. So without further ado, let us begin. I'm going to show you a video from this website.
It's dinner time with family, and you settle in to dine. Your son is watching something, but you think it must be fine. You know it's only kids shows, so you have some peace of mind. But as you eat the roasted goose, your little sport insists.
Hey, Dad, did you know America is racist?
Your mind goes numb, your skin turns pale, and your heart aches with fear. Your child is being filled with lies, the babe you once held dear. But in that shocking moment, a man pops into frame. Could it be George Washington, here to save your child's brain? He snatched the screen and changed the thing, the something that is true. It's an app with shows for kids. They call it PragerU. There's content for your child's mind to fight the leftist lies. And if you give your child a chance to watch and think and grow, they might burst forth like Washington, a true American hero. Think better, live better. Visit PragerUKids.com for free kids shows, cartoons, and books that teach classic American values.
You know, Ken Robinson was right when he said Americans don't seem to get irony. You know, one thing I've noticed, and if you're American, please don't take offense at what I'm going to say. Now, I might not be referring to you personally, yeah? But Americans just don't seem to get irony. You know, irony seems to be lost on the vast majority of the American population. In fact, P.T. Barnum was correct when he said that you cannot go bankrupt by underestimating the taste of the American public. But one thing you must be very careful when dealing with Americans is you must be very careful not to apply too much irony, because it's something that just seems to get lost on them, you know? As a collective, not talking about individual Americans. Irony doesn't seem to be part of the American comedic zeitgeist. Like, isn't PragerU supposed to be the website, you know, that goes all apeshit about quote-unquote leftist indoctrination in colleges? You know, basically like the woke mob is going about in colleges indoctrinating Western students into hating Western civilization, forcing multiculturalism down the throat of good Western people, and basically teaching white people to hate themselves. Although, I don't know which college these people are talking about. Like, I went to university in Adelaide. I went there in 2009. I finished in 2012. I did a double major in English and history. So I don't know what people are talking about when they say that, you know, the woke mob has overtaken colleges in the West. The woke mob has overtaken colleges in the Western world. Now, if you spend enough time on Prager University, you'd be led to believe that these evil, crazy, leftist, degenerate heathens have overtaken the college campuses and have been going about bullying the right-wing students, you know, because they don't indulge in orgies and drugs and casual sex and alcohol and degenerate Marxist hippie values like they do, you know. So you'll be led to believe that the campuses are very hostile place to right-wingers because these crazy leftists are out there indoctrinating innocent children. I graduated exactly 10 years ago at the University of Adelaide. I just done a double major in English and history because I wanted to be a teacher of either history or English. So it made sense to do a double major and see which one I prefer to do. right? So in the end, I ended up doing English, although that was not my original intention. I thought I'd most likely end up doing history, but it's very, very, very difficult to teach history without weaponizing it, because I don't think it's easy to teach history in an objective and unbiased manner. And quite frankly, for reasons which I will not disclose here, I did find the IGCSE syllabus to be quite unpalatable, But anyway, that's not really the point. The point is, universities are not really indoctrinating your children into crazy woke culture. The way PragerU wants you to think is that that right-wingers like themselves are the true liberals, while left-wingers like ourselves are basically really the closed-minded bigots. Apparently we are the ones with the closed minds, and right-wingers are really the ones with the open minds, who are accepting of gays, accepting of coloreds, accepting of... So I've said before that, the right wing in America likes... there's a Chinese saying that when you point one finger at someone, three fingers point back at you, right? The right wing loves accusing leftists of playing identity politics, like they'll say that, for example, leftists only care about your identity as a collective, They don't care about you as an individual. They only see you as a black person or an Asian person. I'm surprised they don't even say Oriental. You'd half expect, people like Jordan Peterson or Dennis Prager to call us Orientals. They say that, oh, if you're on the left, they only see group identity, they only see the whether you as being an Asian, a black person, or a white person. They don't see you as individuals. But on the right, we don't care whether you're black, Asian, or gay, or Latino, or we see you as an individual and judge you by your individual merits. But here's the thing. First of all, college campuses in the West are not indoctrinating people into left-wing, postmodernist, Marxist culture, Marxist postmodernism, whatever you want to call it. When I was there 10 years ago, it was a very, very respectful and civilized place, right? College campuses are not these crazy battlefields of, woke mobs attacking conservative students and assaulting them and physically and verbally abusing them, and nothing of that sort, right? The thing is that the actual truth behind Prager University is that they're not really unhappy about... what was it? That it's not actually... The real problem is not really college campuses indoctrinating people into crazy far left culture, because college administrators, like professors and lecturers and tutors, they aren't even far left. Most academics are centrist to right wing, right? Most academics tend to be of the older generation. So most academics will not even be far left, woke, crazy, communist heathens, right? But here's the important thing you have to remember. To be an academic, as Carver Knuckles said, great YouTuber, I really like that guy, you have to be open-minded, right? When you go to a university, there's a reason we call it a university, right? University, using the prefix uni, which is the same prefix we use for universal, right? A university, ironically enough, is supposed to be a place with diverse viewpoints and diverse cultures, diverse perspectives. And these people in PragerU say that they want diverse viewpoints. They want diverse perspective. No, they don't. They don't like multiculturalism. They want ethnic studies to be scrapped People like Jordan Peterson want ethnic studies to be scrapped from university, right? Gender studies to be scrapped from universities. The truth is, they don't want diverse viewpoints. No, they don't. They want a very rigid, Anglo-centric viewpoint to be taught at universities. And they want a monocultural sort of society. That's why, the far right and the alt-right writers, they like Japan because they think Japan is a homogeneous, monocultural society. Nothing could be further from the truth. Asians are a diverse group of people, even in a specific, not counting the diversity among Asian people, like Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Vietnamese, Indians, Arabs. Even within Asian subgroups, there's so much diversity. I'm not the same as the next Chinese guy or the other Chinese guy, yeah? So the thing is, the idea that countries like Japan or China, although Japan are the honorary Aryans in their worldview, not the Chinese, the idea that they have this monocultural homogeneity that these far-righters like Jordan Peterson strive for, because if they had their way, the West would not have a plethora of different cultures and different types of people. And basically everyone, although everyone would be celebrating, every person in the West will be thinking the same way, practicing the same Anglo-Saxon, Western, Judeo-Christian culture. And it would basically be multiple shades of Christmas, That's basically what they mean when they say they want a world with diverse viewpoints. They don't. They want multiple shades of Christmas, multiple shades of prayer to Jesus Christ, but they don't actually want multiple cultures. They don't like multiculturalism. And of course, they want everyone, not just the whites, but the colored munchkins as well, to acknowledge the superiority of Western civilization. That's all they want. You see, they don't actually want multiple perspectives, right? As I've said, they could care less about, multiculturalism. In fact, they hate multiculturalism. And basically what they want is simply for Anglo-Saxon, Judeo-Christian, 1950s culture to be the dominant culture. That is all. Like, if we could shift the clock back to the 1950s and 1960s, in those times, like the Mad Men era, these fellas, I guarantee you, hypothetically, if this would have happened, guys like Dennis Prager or Jordan Peterson would not be complaining about lack of diverse viewpoints. They would not be complaining about lack of diversity and closed-minded leftist heathens, right? They wouldn't even be complaining about closed-minded right-wing extremists, right? Because they would be living in the cultural zeitgeist of their liking, right? If the clock, hypothetically speaking, was shifted back to the 50s, the Mad Men era, where, the queers were in the closet, or, and basically the coloreds knew their place and they assimilated like nice model minorities, and everybody was acknowledging the inherent superiority of Judeo-Christian, Anglo-Saxon, Western civilization. These people would not be complaining about lack of diversity. They're only complaining about lack of diverse viewpoints because they feel that their viewpoint, their culture is not being treated with the kind of reverence that they feel it deserves, right? And they're just a bunch of, whiny, entitled boomers trying to stay relevant. But the fact that they actually have the audacity to say that leftists are the real close-minded indoctrinators, while right-wingers are really the freedom-loving people just shows you how utterly hypocritical these people are. Like, they have no qualms about indoctrinating their own children into Judeo-Christian religions. They have no qualms about straightening up their gay kids. They have no qualms about, creating a Prager university for children in order to save them from being indoctrinated by the woke liberal mob by creating their own form of benign indoctrination. You see, leftists don't create, channels for children. One thing you have to admit is that leftists, Marxists, never actually create channels like PragerU for kids in order to indoctrinate innocent little children, And the thing is, when you have been in power for so long, when you basically have had your culture and your traditions and your worldview acknowledged as the one and only true worldview and culture and traditions, when other cultures are treated with equal respect and given equal weightage as yours, that can certainly feel like oppression. So if some right-wing students enter university, and it's the same with students from very conservative Muslim households, I'm not laying them off the hook, and they find things that they're not used to, like they find openly gay students on campus, they find communists, they find Marxists, they find people that they did not ever see in their day-to-day lives, that can certainly feel like bullying, right? I mean, if you've been taught, that certain groups of people are inherently evil or inherently inferior to you, and certain cultures are inherently lesser than yours, it's when you go into a university where the professors treat everyone's worldview with respect. At least they try to give as much respect to everyone as humanly possible. I'm not saying that all cultures are equal. And your culture, despite the fact that you've been taught that it's the greatest culture in the world and the only culture worth respecting, it can certainly feel like you're being bullied, right? When your worldview gets shaken. So, nobody in university is teaching students to hate Western civilization, to hate being Western, and basically to overthrow the West. There is no such agenda. But there is a right-wing agenda in order to manufacture a sense of paranoia in parents, to manufacture a sense of paranoia in parents of students, to make them think that leftists in university and in school are indoctrinating their children. But in actual fact, this is real projection on their part, right? Because in actual fact, it is merely projection. The real indoctrinators are not the liberal hippie professors, right? Who are out, teaching your children. The real indoctrinators are not the people from different cultures or the people from different walks of life that your precious little pearls may meet at university campuses. Oh no, the real indoctrinators are far, far, far more insidious.